Hey, BYP responds videos. Tonight I'm wearing a very appropriate shirt for my review of the Skywatcher Part 2 UFO Marvel Comics. See that big, bad, green, big ass right there? That's who I feel like being tonight. And I'm going to smash. So we watched the infomercial for their modules that they want to sell us. Skywatcher. Yeah, Jake Barber. The guy who can invest in so much fabulous personnel, so much incredible equipment, get scientists on his side and psionic people and extra news reporters for news outlets. And all they did is gave us a mere 26-minute infomercial to introduce us to their modules that they will show in the up and coming weeks, which appears to me to be their only point of doing all of this. This is going to be a rough review because I've been hammering it out with my wife for the last hour or so. And I'm an idealist, I guess. And I genuinely wanted to give the benefit of the doubt, for real. And I feel betrayed. And I am so mad. I'm going to do everything I can not to rant and rave too bad tonight, because really technically that doesn't, I'm going to be the least watched reviewer. Everyone else is going to spit forward flowers and ululations and paeans of praise. So I'm going to try to work through my situation, my impression. My overall impression of Part 2 of Skywatchers. They tell us too much about what they saw, and they show us a mere maybe at best 5 minutes worth of chintzy 5 to 8 second video clips. They claimed in this thing, this infomercial, this recording, that they have over 100 sessions of calling in the UFO and videoing it. And they show us, what, maybe a dozen at most of only 3 different kinds, and then only for 3 to 8 seconds. And they said they had over 100. They told us all about how the radar showed the anomalous aspect of all of these hundreds of sessions that they've held and recorded on the radar. And they didn't show us any of the data on the radar. Nothing. They tell us what they did, but we don't know that. They say they want us to see the data and the evidence, but they take 26 minutes to tell us what they did, and they give us a mere pittance of, a little bit, and that's all you get. But at the end of the video, they say, well, here in a couple of weeks, we're going to show you in details our modules. And that's where you'll get the good stuff. So I don't see an actual website of Skywatcher, but I did ask about Skywatcher UFOs Jake Barber website modules, and it did give me some information that a module is a camera, it's a consumer module that they're going to be selling us so that we can do what they're doing. And it's going to be a consumer model camera. In other words, a cheap piece of shit that's not worth your money, and a chintzy $200, $300 computer that's probably not worth much more anyway. They're going to give us pre-packaged modules to buy so that we can do our own viewing. How is it that grown men with so much background information on their military training and understanding, their video training and understanding, their psionics, they obviously have studied logic and analysis, data analysis. They have some really good data electronic engineers that are working with their computers, etc. How is it that these guys don't know how to present actual evidence? That's astonishing to me. It absolutely takes my breath away. I have been screaming about it for the last hour. Don't tell me, show me. Now, I need your help as an audience, and I'm sincere here. I mean it. Jake Barber and Skywatcher has to begin to see what we was hoping for, even though I am now well aware, thanks to the insight of my wonderful, knowledgeable wife, this is not their intent at all, and they'll never give us what we're hoping they will. It's all about selling us modules. What this was an infomercial, which is just, that's a bitter pill to swallow for me. That's a really bitter pill. I'm very, very upset. I know I'm not ranting and raving like I normally do, but I am not happy. I am not impressed. But I need your help. They really do claim in this documentary, I'm very sincerely serious, which, by the way, they even turned the comments off. So you can't even leave a comment. Now, what's that tell you? I mean, seriously, that's almost all I needed to know. They turned the comments off. They're not here. They're not here to help us see reality and truth. They're here to sell stuff. And they're only going to give us just enough to convince us that we too can buy their equipment that they're using, although it's consumer grade, not pro grade. And then we too can do the same thing they're doing. I need your help. They claimed they had 100 different videos of all of the different kinds of craft that they've seen. Now, they've classified them in 9 different classifications, and they show that up on the screen, the various kinds. And then they show 3 of the different kinds, maybe 4. Just small, short, quick 5-10 second video clips. Nothing to get a hard on about. That's probably not the nicest way to put it, but I am talking to men out there in the desert who think they're doing us a favor, and they're not. They claim they had 100 different videos of the electronic dog whistle calling in the UAP. Several of them came within eye shot. Now, some of them they had to use, some of them were far enough away, they had to use their binoculars and zoom in on them. And they did do some zooms. And yeah, the quality of the video and the picture is not as good as we would like. That might not be their fault, though. You know, that might have something to do with something about the UAP UFO. I can grant that gently and not be too upset with it. What upsets me is the man said, I have 100 videos, different ones. Now, who here in my audience would watch an 8-hour video presentation of all of the video clips and the radar machine that they use and have them explaining the radar, what it meant, like the Tedesco brothers do professionally, unlike these amateurs who just tell us? Who wouldn't watch 10 hours of that instead of a mere 26-minute summary of what they did? I will be the first to raise my hand, and I will tell them I would watch 20 hours of those types of video evidences, you jackasses. Don't tell me, show me. How on God's earth can that not be comprehended at this point in the game? Really? I'm asking sincerely. Well, my wife has the beautiful answer. It's because that's not their intention. They want to sell you their modules. This is the hook. This is the infomercial. Now, I really hope I'm not the only YouTube content creator who is in this UFO community who says how absolutely extremely unsatisfactory that is. I get it. They did show a couple of new different types of UFOs for just a couple of quick seconds. They wouldn't bother showing the whole process. They wouldn't show us anything of the radar at all. It is in the daytime. That was kind of interesting. But, oh, they got all the landscape view, and, oh, this is where we are. And then some of the cool shots of them jumping into the helicopter, and they were up in the helicopter, you know, and they're, who cares? I don't have the money. I don't have the equipment. I don't have the time to be able to do this right. Even after I retire, I'm not going to have enough money to buy all that equipment and do it right. This is the one group other than the Tedescos that can do it right legitimately. And go ahead and watch it yourself and see. I am just, I am absolutely disappointed. I said I hope part 2 they redeem themselves. Now that I know that part 3 is going to be another infomercial and all, I'm not convinced I'm going to watch it. I'll tell you what, though, sincerely, if they would show unedited, uncut, all of the videos they produced bringing those craft in while they were talking and exploring, oh, hey, yeah, here comes one, look at that, and then put the video on it, etc. If they would show us what the radar actually showed and describe it to us and all, I would be more than willing to support them and buy one of their modules, but not until you give me the actual evidence. I can't fathom that they do not comprehend that. Now, my argument, and my wife shot this down probably realistically, reasonably, because I am misunderstanding their goal. There's no reason. I mean, if they're looking to make money, there's no reason for them to sell the modules to us. Because if they would show the 10 hours or 12 hours or however long, I don't give a damn about the length. Show me the evidence. Convince me. Don't entice me. And there would be billions of people watching that just through the ad revenue. I would think they could make a lot more money than with the modules. Now, those of you who say, well, you misunderstand, they're already rich, is irrelevant. They're trying to sell us something, a product that you have to fork over money for. That's their goal. They're not in it for the views or the ad revenue or the reality of it. They want to sell you their modules. And I think my wife's pretty much convinced me of that. I'm too idealistic for them. That's not their goal. Well, they're filthy rich. They don't need money. But they want to sell kits. Now, my wife's approach to this was very actually helpful to me. I understand this and I agree with this. No, I do. I agree with this. If they sell 10,000 modules to help people set up a computer, hook it up to a video camera or some kind of a camera, and 10,000 new people begin watching the skies and getting UFOs recorded, that's a good thing, isn't it? And I had to agree. I thought, well, yeah. And she said, there you go. That's their goal, is to get more people involved. And I said, earlier on, they said their goal was to show us bringing the craft in and actually acquire one of the crafts and prove they were real through their video and stuff like that, maybe even if they met a being or whatever. Now they're backing off completely from that and saying, oh yeah, buy our modules instead. But they didn't come right out and say that. They're being tricky and subtle. And they don't allow comments because, well, I'll leave that to you to decide why someone doesn't allow comments on a video. Yeah. So that is all I want to say. Somehow, well, I'm going to push the Tedesco brothers. By the way, they're fine. We had a mix-up, and it was my fault. It's all good. We are going to reschedule the Tedesco brothers and I. But now, really, truly, the Tedescos, oh, they are the real deal compared to the Jake Barber, I want to get you to purchase my module trickster type stuff where they sell you their product through an infomercial of as precious little actual evidence as they think they can get away with. It's a complete turnoff. It does not add to their credibility. It does nothing for me. I mean, if it made you happy, you know, some of you thought the egg video was really spectacular too. So I and the Tedesco brothers are going to reschedule. Maybe this next Sunday for the live. We might pre-record it, and I'll do it as a premiere. That way, I think we can actually go a little longer, because if I can record it earlier, because they're 2 hours later than I am, so they're up pretty late if we go pretty long. So it's not like they're against that, but I'm trying to respect their time element also. So, but yeah, that's in the works. And thank you for all the fun conversation yesterday on my live. That was a blast. It was so cool. The questions you guys were asking me, and me being able to talk to you and share my ins and outs and all that. So, but yeah, I will, for the very meager, mere, woefully inadequate, edited, quick, cheap shot 3 to 6 second video clips that they did put in part 2, I'll give them a C- on the whole overall effort. If you want an A, then prove it. Don't whanny boo-hoo to me about how I don't appreciate your efforts. Your efforts is not to share what's real, it's to sell a product. If that's what you're about, I'm not buying. And when you can get off your asses and do it right, then I'll buy. And you should know what I mean by that comment. Show me. Don't tell me about it. I mean, sincerely, show and tell, even the grade schoolers understand that concept. What the hell is the Skywatcher's excuse? I'm just asking. Thanks for watching my review. I will be back with a lot more as I find it. Appreciate all your support and love and excitement and energy for this. When some disappoint, we continue pressing forward on our own, learning ever more, and perhaps realize that if they're not the best way to look into it, someone else, the Tedescos, might very well hold the key, and we're going to go explore with them. So stay tuned, a lot more to come. Appreciate all your friendship and support. I will be back just as soon as I can. Have a great night.